It's day 37, 17,640 verses left. So yesterday you would have ventured into the book of Job and we didn't have time to say anything about it, so I thought we'd better go back. We really nearly find ourselves in the land of Oz, but not quite, and it focuses on this guy called Job who's really rich and really good. Then we move to a scene in heaven and God's having a conversation with Satan and he says to him, "Hey, where you been?" And Satan says to him, "Oh, you know, just been going to and fro across the earth like I do." It all sounds a little bit like God's about to invite him out for cocktails, but then he says to him, "Hey, have you considered my servant Job? He's a good guy, isn't he?" And Satan's like, "Please, Job's only a good guy because you protect everything he has. Stretch out your hand and strike it all and he'll turn away from you and curse you to your face." They're definitely not going out for cocktails. And God's like, "Fine, do whatever you want to anything he's got, but don't hurt Job himself." So then in about 23 seconds flat, Job loses his camels, his oxen, his sheep, his servants, and his children. And then in response to this calamity, we get one of the craziest moments of worship in the whole Bible, where Job falls on his face and he says, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I shall depart. The Lord gave and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised." That is one heck of a way to prove Satan wrong. So then we get back into heaven and God says to Satan again, "Where you been?" He's like, "To and fro. There's still no cocktails." And God says, "Have you considered Job again? He's really good." And Satan says to him, "It's only because he's healthy. Stretch out your hand and strike his skin and bones and he'll curse you to your face then." And God says, "Go for it. Let's see what happens." This is the meanest experiment ever. Job gets sores from the soles of his feet to the top of his head and he sits in ashes scraping away at them, and his wife says to him, "Just curse God and die. Face the facts, Job." Job tells his wife to simmer down, and then his three friends come to join him, and that's where the real trouble begins. Nobody says anything for 7 days. They just sit there in the ashes, and then Job curses the day of his birth. And then when his friends start speaking to him, they say to him, "Job, you're obviously just a bad dude. That's why all this stuff's happened to you." But we know he isn't, because God said he isn't at the beginning, and the whole of the rest of the book looks at why do bad things happen to good people. Tune in tomorrow to find out.